Oh my god, I never know where to look on these fucking iPhones. I know I gotta look there. Right there. Right there. But like I wanna look at myself. Is that weird? It's weird. Hi everyone. Jason, aka Lady Bearica. And I am an addict who has 10 months today. I have 10 months of continual sobriety away from everything. Booze, weed, poppers, that's part of it. And most importantly, crystal meth. I just felt compelled as I was making my gratitude list this morning to make a video. I've always posted about it, the accomplishments, but today feels really special. Every day is the longest I've ever had away from use, active use. I mean, besides when I was like, before I started using. That doesn't count though. I feel, I'm just gonna have to lean into the cheese here. I feel so blessed. I have so many people around me now that support me. Let me take it back. In the summer of 2019, I think it was July, maybe late June, I walked into a recording of Nobody's Watching Wrestling. For those of you who don't know, that's the YouTube series I do with the Nobodies, Accident Report, and Ariel Italic before she retired. And I was done. I walked in and I burst into tears because I'd had enough. It gotten to that point. I always thought I was like okay because my rock bottom wasn't like what I'd seen in the movies. Spoiler alert, what they show you on TV in the movies is not what recovery is. It can be fun. Being in the rooms full of people that know what it's like to be an active addiction and the insanity that goes with it is an incredible experience. I've developed so many amazing relationships with amazing people doing amazing things. Being sober one fucking day is amazing, but being around people that have months and years of sobriety is incredible. I never thought I'd get here. I remember being in my early 20s and I was just starting to party and go out to bars. I worked at 2 different fucking bars in Lawrence, Kansas, and I was out 5-6 times a week. And I thought that was normal. I mean, it was normal comparatively, but it's not now comparatively. The fact is, in the summer of 2019, I wanted to die and I almost died and I woke up. And I walked into that recording with Max, our camera guy, and Jordan from 2 Minutes, who was our producer at the time, and Ariel, and Accident Report, and I said I needed help. And I said, I need you guys to help me. I said, I can't do this on my own anymore. I've tried. I've tried. Everything that was happening in that moment was, yes, like, I needed help, but also I was like sick of the insanity. I was sick of letting my friends down. I was sick of just not being a person. The saying is, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's exactly what it was. GG. JJ's coming over to say hello because he loves me too. I would never have fucking JJ if I wasn't sober. Right, JJ? What else did I want to say? So, I asked them to help me. Accident report, compiled a list, and sent it to me via email of different options for treatment. And I skimmed through it, and I think the only one that really stood out to me was the LGBTQ Center has a program, and I emailed them. Just the simple task of sending an email asking for that sort of help is so humbling, and probably one of the best emails I've ever sent in my life. JJ wants to play now. The most humbling and the most satisfying email and the most relieving email. Let me go back again. I was in my early 20s in Lawrence, Kansas, working at 2 different bars, and had a phone conversation with my aunt and my grandma, who had died when I was in high school. I was having a conversation with my aunt, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm going to this party, I'm working at this bar, I'm doing this gig. And she's like, you gotta be careful, you know that, right? You know your grandmother was an alcoholic, right? And I got so fucking pissed. Not at her, but because my aunt, Jane, bless her heart, has always told me the fucking truth. No matter what. She was the first person in that side of my family I came out to. And, and I got pissed because no one had ever told me that. And in my young brain, I was like, had somebody had these conversations happen when I was younger, then maybe I wouldn't be here. Maybe I wouldn't be drinking 6 or 7 nights a week. You know, it was fun, but I also knew that I had a problem at the time. Coke started coming into my life. I'm sure other things, ecstasy. I'd just come out to, and you know, being part of the gay scene in any city. I was hanging out in Kansas City at the time. Being part of the gay scene is always filled with drugs, and it doesn't have to be. I want to say that right now. It doesn't have to be. It appears that way because it appears that the people out in the clubs, the people performing on the stages, it appears that we're having more fun. But sometimes we're not. Sometimes, and I speak for myself here, the reason I was attracted to that lifestyle is because I needed the escape. I needed the fantasy. I needed the escape, and I needed the fantasy. My first addiction was escapism and fantasy from a very young age. I'm gonna try to keep it through line here, but that's definitely part of my story is the desire to escape my reality. And that was the first. Oh, there's JJ. Thank you, JJ. Thank you. Basically, what this is a love letter to everyone out there watching this that has supported me over the years, to everyone out there that has somebody that's dealing with addiction, to my friends and my family who I'm texting personally, of course. I just felt compelled to make this video. JJ. So it's over there, JJ. He just like flung his toy across the room and now doesn't know where it's at. Right there. Go get it. But what I was getting at, I was in my early 20s partying, and I remember way back then, I'm 39 now, I'll be 40 this year. I was in my early 20s at this point. Sorry, everybody should have a dog that can take care of them. And I was in my early 20s at this point, and I remember going to the local library to use the internet, because not everyone had internet in their homes at this time. Fun fact about the early 2000s, the early naughties as we're calling them now, which I love. I think that's a great name for them, the naughties. I remember going to the local library and clandestinely hovering in my own little cubicle, trying to make sure that nobody around me saw, and Googling rehabs. Nothing came of it, but that's just to say that this can last a long time. If this disease can take a hold of you and keep you out in active use as long as the shame holds you. And I should keep it in the eye, because that's what we do in the rooms. We don't try to like tell anybody else what to do. We just like do what we do and hope that people see it and want to do the same thing. So I had such shame about myself. You know, back then it wasn't, my problems were pretty big, but not as huge as they got in 2019. You know, in my 20s, I managed to like snap out of it, stop drinking so much. I quit doing hard drugs for a few years and got a hold of my life. And then, you know, as soon as something traumatic happened, it came back to my life, the drug usage. And every now and then I would take, you know, a year or two off, and then that dwindled to a few months off, and then that dwindled to like a couple months off, and then that dwindled to I could only take like a couple weeks off at a time from doing meth, which is my drug of choice. Alcohol became less and less of a problem. I don't really even consider myself an alcoholic at this point. But ABC alcohol becomes crystal, alcohol becomes cocaine, whatever it is. That's a saying. That's another saying that we have in this program. JJ, go get it. So, you know, I kept my dis-ease, as they call it, at bay for a long time. I was really good at it. I was just chatting with a friend today, and they were basically like, take this as you will, but you hid it really well. And that's another scary part of this addiction. You become a professional liar. And on top of that, I'm a trained actor, so my lies were so deep and so involved and so covered up. But at a certain point, it became exhausting. Just keeping up the lies itself became exhausting. Not to mention, I was getting high every other day of the week. Crystal meth is a hell of a drug. And I was just listening to someone speak in a meeting recently, and it really clicked with me. What they were saying is that as someone like me who was like undiagnosed ADD for a long time in my life, who had you know, trouble concentrating in school, and you know, I had low-level depression at a certain time in my life. I'd say low-level. I was not diagnosed. Who asked for help in high school when I first started experiencing depressions, was denied that help. I had to figure these things out on my own, and substance abuse became my pharmacy. It became my way to cope. It became my way to cope. I mean, that's the right word for it. And as soon as I smoked my first bowl of crystal meth, and exactly like this person said it, I didn't feel like I was high. I felt like I was normal. And that's scary, you know? That's what kept me coming back to the drug. And now on the flip side of it, what keeps me coming back to the rooms is I meet people like that. I meet people that understand my specific struggle. I have so many great friends in my life that have helped me through this as much as they can, but until I, as an active drug user, met people with the same stories, and I still hear them every day when I go to meetings. I still hear people tell my story, and I'm just like dumbfounded that I share this certain path in my life with so many other people. Addiction becomes about the isolation. It becomes about being misunderstood. It becomes about the escape, the fantasy, you mix, and then you mix sex with it all. Like, just forget about it. Because you feel like, I felt like I was building real intimacy and building real connection with people while being high and having sex, as it's termed, chem sex. You can look at that. But as I was writing, I was texting Accident Report today, and I was like, wish me a happy 10 months. And we got into it, and I really started getting emotional because what recovery teaches me, what sobriety teaches me, is that I do have so much. And I knew that all along, but I also didn't think anyone would ever understand me. And so I created separate lives, and I created lies, and I created stories. And man, if I could be the type of storyteller on paper that I am in my head, fuck, Oscar, I would be a fucking EGOT. I mean, maybe not a Tony, but an ego. Okay. Anyway, I posted, so this is going out to, I communicate with the people every day almost that have helped me do this, but I also want to communicate with you out there that are followers of this YouTube, or followers of this Instagram, or followers of Nobody's Watching Wrestling, or maybe a friend that I had years ago, or maybe, I just want to post this for every one of you, because when I was first thinking about getting sober, and when I first came into the rooms, because I didn't tell you guys I was struggling until I had a little bit of time under my belt. And of course I relapsed last year, but summer of 2019 when I first came into recovery, and I made it a point, I wanted to get to my first 90 days, and then I wanted to become public about this. And the reason for that is the fans of the Nobodies out there, you guys were such a big influence on me getting sober, and I don't think you knew that. I don't think you know that. Or I haven't expressed it in this sort of way. That show, when we first started doing Nobody's Watching Wrestling, it was about truth and fun. It was about fun, but also truth. We made such connections, and I went back and watched the first video last night and read some of the comments, and we made such connections, and our connections were about truth. And there was a huge part of myself that I wasn't being truthful about. So when I first came into recovery, I thought about you guys a lot. I may not know your names or your faces, but you were there with me. And I want to honor you with that. And I want to say, I love you. If you are struggling, I understand what that's like. If you have somebody that's struggling, I understand what that's like. If you're feeling misunderstood for whatever reason, I understand what that's like. If you are gay, if you are queer, or you're non-binary, if you're trans, I know what that's like. I came out as non-binary last year. I think that's something that I haven't really talked about either. Not last year, it's been a year and a half now. Again, summer of 2019. It's the summer everything changed. Anyway, this video is for you and for JJ. For you, the you out there that has enjoyed any part of my life, the you out there that has been part of my life. Oh my God, JJ. He's like, I'm the only one. He's like, I'm the only one. The you out there that has made a comment on any of these videos, the you out there that... Okay, JJ. Okay. You help me get... Oh my God, I've got to wrap this up. You help me build this 10 months day by day. And I appreciate you. So thank you. This is a long video. If you've gotten to this end, thank you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to not be stuck in shame and untruth. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for 10 months of continuous sobriety. And I'm grateful for you. And if you're struggling, I see you. I'll look at the comments and try to keep up. And stay tuned for more nobody stuff. Ariel's gone, but that doesn't mean we're not gonna try to keep creating stuff for you. I love you. You're special. You're amazing. I see you. I see the you that maybe other people don't see. And I love you. That's it. I don't need to say anymore. Okay. See you later.